I can say is that you better have your multi-view ready on Saturday night, because at the same time as the Penn State whiteout game, we're going to have an instant classic in the SEC as number 17 Alabama takes on number 5 Georgia in one of the biggest games of the year. Two of the biggest games of the year happening on the same night at the same time. This matchup between two SEC title contenders, two college football playoff contenders that have seen some classic games in recent memory, including just last year when Alabama defeated the Bulldogs 41-34 in Tuscaloosa. These two teams now meet in Athens for the first time since 2015 with everything on the line. Who's going to come out with the massive victory? That's what we're going to tell you today. So welcome back to the Gridiron Expert, guys. So glad you could join us today. As always, please continue to like, comment, subscribe, share our videos, and check out everything down in the description below. That includes our website, thegridironexpert.com, home to our expert picks, which are some of the best college football and NFL spread picks in the entire country, beating out over 80% of the national handicappers each of the last 6 years, and doing so right now as we're hitting over 58% of our bets. So go take advantage of it. Sign up today and become a member of our GE Nation today. All right, let's get into this. I'm beyond excited for this game, right? I mean, I'm going to have my multi-view ready on the TV or have it on the TV and an iPad. Got to figure something out so I don't miss either of these games. But you look at Alabama and Georgia, again, the narrative going into this game, of course, is Alabama's history versus the Bulldogs, right? They've won 9 of the last 10 against Georgia. They've won SEC championships. They've won national championships over the Bulldogs. They have won in the regular season, just like we saw last year. They dominated the game back in 2015 in Athens, right? So we have seen Alabama really dominate this series time and time and time again. And many people are like, well, I can't pick Georgia to win this game until I finally see it happen. But then you look at Georgia, on the other hand, they've won 33 straight home games. So a night game between the hedges in a revenge spot from last year, 33 straight home wins. Something's going to give here. Either Georgia's streak is going to end at home and Alabama's going to get this win, or Georgia is finally going to get that big elusive win over Alabama. Yes, they won the Natty a few years ago, but still. So a lot riding on this game. Alabama, they lose this game, they can probably just kiss the playoff goodbye. Georgia, if they lose this game, playoffs certainly are not done for them, but the margin for error becomes significantly slimmer. It's going to be smaller. So much on the line Saturday night. It's going to be phenomenal. Take a look at the offense. Let's start with Alabama. Ty Simpson. That's the story, right? He's been unreal. Up and down debut, obviously as a starter on the road at Florida State, but that feels like a big afterthought now because since then, Alabama's been playing great football. Granted, it's only been against ULM and Wisconsin, two very bad teams, but Simpson has thrown for 862 yards, 9 touchdowns, and no interceptions. Has yet to turn the ball over. He's only thrown 5 incompletions in his last 2 games. Was actually perfect against ULM. And against Wisconsin, 24 for 29, 382 yards, and 4 touchdowns. So he's playing really good ball, extremely accurate, taking great care of the football, averaging over 335 passing yards per game so far this year. And he's going to test this Georgia secondary that just gave up 371 passing yards to Tennessee. Right, both these teams coming off a bye, but in their last outing, Simpson torched Wisconsin, and Georgia's defense gave up a lot of yards to Tennessee in a game they probably should have lost. We know Alabama's got some talent at wide receiver. Jeremy Bernard's been great. Ryan Williams, of course, is absolutely phenomenal. I'm sure Georgia remembers him very well from last year. And to make matters better for Alabama, they're expected to get their top running back back in Jam Miller. Hasn't played all year. They're expected to get him back. How well does he play? How rusty is he? How big of an impact does he play? That remains to be seen, but having that extra depth at the running back position for a team that needs to run the ball a little bit better is going to be big for the Crimson Tide. You take a look at Georgia. The narrative surrounding Georgia pretty much all year has been their offense isn't that great, right? And I know, what was it, Austin Peay, they only mustered 28 points. That was a little bit concerning, sure, but they did just drop 44 points on the road at Tennessee. A very impressive road comeback victory, I should add. So this Bulldogs offense gets a lot of hate. I don't think it's very justified. They're averaging over 470 yards per game. They're balanced, averaging 261 passing yards per game, 209 rushing yards per game. And Gunnar Stockton, I felt like he arrived in Knoxville, right? It was always, how's he going to fare in his first true road game as a starter against a top 20 team on the road? I mean, all these things. And he played extremely well in Knoxville. He's thrown for 721 yards on the year, 4 touchdowns, has rushed for over 100 yards, and 3 more touchdowns. And that dual threat capability is something that I expect Kirby Smart to utilize in this game against Alabama. We saw the Crimson Tide struggle mightily in week 1 against Florida State, and Thomas Castellanos could not stop him for anything. Actually, Alabama gave up 230 rushing yards on the day to the Seminoles. Stockton is no Thomas Castellanos. He's not as elusive. He's not nearly as fast. But that his dual threat capability is something that Alabama is going to have to respect. And it is something that I expect Georgia to utilize a little bit more on Saturday night. Nate Frazier has been great at running back, 189 yards on the year so far. Zachariah Branch and Colby Young both have over 100 reception yards on the year. Again, this Georgia team had 500 yards of offense against Tennessee, 304 of those coming through the air. But the biggest thing that's going to really make or break this game, I think, for Georgia is turnovers. Don't beat yourself, especially at home. Georgia has turned the ball over 4 times in the last 2 games. You cannot give Alabama life. You cannot give Alabama extra chances. I do think this offense will capitalize on them. So if you're Georgia, you've got to hold on to the football. Stockton's got to take good care of the football. The running backs have to hold on to the football. You have to make sure you do not turn the ball over, because if you give Ty Simpson this offense a chance, I do believe they're going to capitalize. The defense. Alabama, they get a big boost there as well. Jam Miller returns at running back. Tim Keenan returned on the defensive line for the Crimson Tide this week, and that's a huge, huge addition for Alabama, right? Only had 2.5 sacks last year, but good run stopper, can generate a little bit of pressure. That's a huge addition for this Alabama defense. It really hasn't been that bad this year. Again, the Florida State game was bad. Week 1, it was horrendous. Again, 230 rushing yards, not ideal at all. But they've played very well since then. Again, not against good teams, but very well since then. They're 3rd in the nation in stopping the pass. Only 108 passing yards per game, 108. Only 138 rushing yards per game. And again, those numbers might be a little bit skewed because Florida State did rush for 230 yards on them. ULM, Wisconsin really don't have much of an offense at all. The biggest question for me for Alabama defensively coming into this game is, can they generate some pass rush, right? Through 4 games, and again, against 2 with inferior opponents in ULM, Wisconsin, they've generated just 4 sacks. That's it. They're really not disrupting anything in the backfield. They're not creating much pressure on opposing quarterbacks. They're not really making many negative plays. So can this defensive front get anything going against this Georgia offensive front? Can they pressure Gunnar Stockton in the pocket, force him into some bad decisions, force them into some second and third and long situations? Can they get after him? This Alabama secondary, I think, is really, really good. I think they've got one of the best secondaries in the country. They're going to challenge Stockton, which is why if you're forcing them into some obvious passing situations, I think the secondary is going to be phenomenal. You get them in a second, third, and long situations, that secondary knows what's coming, right? But the key for Alabama up front is to shut down the run and to generate some sort of pressure on Stockton. And obviously, as we mentioned, make sure he doesn't utilize his dual threat ability. Don't allow him to escape the pocket. Don't allow him to pick up some second and third and longs or second and third down conversions with his legs. You got to respect it, but you need to do your best to contain it. Georgia, strong defense per usual. Yes, they allowed nearly 500 yards of offense to Tennessee. That was very uncharacteristic from a Kirby Smart defense, and obviously it can be exploited. I mean, Tennessee put up 41 points on them. They put up 371 passing yards on them, 125 rushing yards on them. Like, it's obvious that a team with the talent can exploit this Georgia defense. Tennessee did it. I think Alabama can do it. That's how high I am on Ty Simpson. That's how much I believe in Ty Simpson. But the Georgia defense did force 2 interceptions. They forced 2 interceptions on Tennessee. And I think they're going to need to do the same now against Alabama. And I'll tell you right now, I think they will. I think they're going to force at least 1 interception off of Ty Simpson, who, kind of has the same storyline surrounding him, just like Gunnar Stockton did a few weeks ago. Ty Simpson now making his first career road start. I know he played, against USF, but his toughest road start, I should say, on the road at night against Georgia with a 33-game home winning streak on the line. Very similar to Gunnar Stockton going into the very hostile Neyland Stadium for a massive game, right? This isn't going into Kentucky. This isn't going into Nashville, right? This is Athens. This is Knoxville. And for Ty Simpson, it is Athens, who's going to be making the toughest road start of his entire career. That's the storyline to watch out for here. And that's, if you're Georgia, you're licking your chops, right? You're thinking, we've got to go out there and rattle this guy. We've got to make him so uncomfortable. And, you think you're good against ULM. Oh, you think you're good against Wisconsin. You're not good against us here in Athens. That's what Georgia's defense has to do, is disrupt, disrupt, disrupt. I'm not sold on Alabama's running game. I do not think Alabama can come in here and have their way with Georgia on the ground. This is a game that if Alabama wants to win, they're going to have to win it through the air. They're going to have to win it through the air, and they're going to have to win it through their defense. And if you're Georgia, you do everything in your power to disrupt that passing game and say, run it, because you're not going to have that much success on us anyways. So this is a massive game, guys. I mean, think about this. Alabama needs this, right? They've already got a loss. You lose to Georgia. Your SEC title hopes aren't over by any means. Only one conference loss, so that's 2 overall losses. One more, and they're probably out of the playoff race. And as we know, life in the SEC is very, very difficult. Very tough schedule the rest of the way. Georgia, top 5 team in the country right now, looking to finally get that elusive win over Alabama, looking to keep that massive home winning streak alive. And I can't help but wonder if they do win this game, how much longer it can go, because there aren't that too many tough games left at home for them. I know they play Texas and teams like that, but I wouldn't be too concerned about that right now. And a loss for Georgia isn't detrimental, but obviously makes their margin for error significantly slimmer with a SEC schedule left ahead of them. So really, really big when it comes to the title race. Really big when it comes to the college football playoff race. So much on the line here. And I'll tell you, I typically don't go against the trend, right? I'm one of those guys that sits here and says, well, if I haven't seen this team, Team A beat Team B in 5 years, I can't pick against them. Well, I'm going to go against the trend now. I got to go with Georgia here. I've got to go with Georgia here. 33 straight home wins is no joke. Home field advantage will play a major role in the 2 biggest games of this weekend, both in Penn State for the whiteout game and Georgia at night between the hedges. That is a big, big deal. And Kalen DeBoer has not shown me at Alabama that he can win on the road. He is 2-4 in road games with the Crimson Tide. There's only 2 wins coming last year against, again, a bad Wisconsin team and an LSU team that had no defense whatsoever. They lost on the road to Vanderbilt last year, lost to Tennessee, lost to Oklahoma, and this year lost in Tallahassee to Florida State. Alabama is a different animal at home compared to what they are on the road. And this is one of the toughest road environments in the entire country. This Georgia offense can match Alabama's. The defense can match Alabama's. They've got the home field advantage. They've got the winning streak. They've got the revenge factor. Everything to me points to a Georgia win here. It will be close. It will be a classic. But give me the Bulldogs to win this game and send Alabama to 2-2 heading in to the month of October. So guys, as always, thank you so much for watching us here at the Gridiron Expert on YouTube. Make sure to continue to like, comment, subscribe, share our videos. Check out everything down in the description below. That includes our website, thegridironexpert.com, home to those expert picks, which are some of the best college football and NFL spread picks in the entire country. Do not miss out on those. Again, the link for that down in the description below. And once again, as always, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time right here on the Gridiron Expert.
Yeah.